So definitely interesting stuff here. Totally my style because I did take a lot of uh, training and did a lot of studying for the floodplain certification exam. So it's exciting to kind of put that into play with watching these videos for reactions. But here we get to see like actual technology that can be for anti-flooding and prevent damages to the different homes, businesses, and structures. So this will be kind of cool. I do have a background in floodplain and floods and natural disasters just with my degree and compliance with regards to environmental law. So this will be fun, and I really love technology, so I think this will be cool.
It doesn't take too long to set up these things either, so if there isn't much of a warning before an impending storm, anyone in the Aquapex flood guard will still have a fighting chance.
It's very helpful to know what different technologies are out there because I'm not sure if you know this, but the #1 disaster to hit anyone in the world is actually flooding. It's the most common. And because flooding is the most common, it is definitely most helpful to know how to prevent flooding to your home and business and structures. So this will be a very helpful video, I'm sure.
Anyone can buy the perfect amount
Wow,
of flood blocks
Legos.
for the perimeter around their home and keep
Very
everything nice
innovative.
and
I
dry.
love it.
But how exactly do the blocks work? Well, the flood block is a self-filling crate with foam padding packed on the bottom that creates the seal to prevent the water from seeping in underneath. There's one small self-filling hole at the bottom that allows them to use flood water to its own
Wow.
advantage, using the extra weight to keep the flood block from floating away when things get a little too serious. And naturally, the stacking feature makes them pretty easy to store in the garage or out back. Since they're lightweight, it makes it easy enough for just about anyone to set them up and take them down. No professional training required. Number 13. Quick Dam Flood Barrier Socks. When you're preparing for a bad flood,
a lot of
you
water.
need to get things done quickly. And so Quick Dam Flood Barrier Socks are an awesome invention to help out when those heavy,
I like the other
rains come
method
pouring down.
because
And while sandbags may always
it
be a
does
safe
look
bet,
like
these
it
take things
creates
to a
a
whole new
very
level.
high
Flood barrier socks
prevention,
are the same general idea,
like a
except
foot,
you can
foot
think
and a
of them
half.
as sandless sandbags.
The water is
They've
held
become
back
all the rage
in
across the
height.
U.S., and good luck finding them at your
This
major
doesn't look
retailers
like it
because
does
they
as
sell out
much
like hotcakes.
water with regards
That's
to the
part of
height
their simple
that it
concept.
protects
All
against.
you have to do is
But
throw
it's
them down
super
and
cool
create a
how
wall
high
around
tech it
whatever you
is.
want to
The
save from the flood.
stuff,
Fill them up with water and let
the
them do the rest.
inside
And while these little quick dams
expands
may
when
not be
it
the
gets
best option
wet,
to keep the
so
water
that's
out,
kind of
it's more
cool.
about diverting the water and letting it flow through a much safer outlet. And they're super absorbent
Very
too.
high tech.
These barriers come in 5, 10, and 17-foot long pieces. They're great for just about any type of environment. It's a very simple invention, but people swear by them. Number 12. Water Inflated Property Protector. Some people like to fight fire with fire. Others like to fight fire with water. But how about fighting water with more water? Well, the Water Inflated Property
Look
Protector,
at that.
or WIP, should be a self-explanatory device. The WIP is made from an extremely durable vinyl-coated
My gosh,
polyester
nobody
that is up
has
to
like
150 feet long, making it the perfect little
hoses
anti-flood
like
prevention
that,
for
like
a big piece of
sitting
land.
around. You'd have to
It's
buy all
more or
this
less a long
special
tube with
gear.
an internal
That's a
support structure
firefighting
that can be
hose.
inflated with any nearby water source,
Hmm?
ideally a hose. And once this thing is filled up, it
Wow,
becomes a
that's large.
heavy-duty
See,
barrier
I
against the
I don't
oncoming
know,
waters.
like this
The
isn't
whip
as
works like a
tall.
charm, and the biggest
I really
appeal is it can be
like the
quickly
first
and
one
easily
a lot
deployed and
because it
repaired.
was taller.
And when the rains have cleared, it's incredibly
But
easy
as
to
they were
empty
saying, I
out
think
and
it
pack away nice
can
and tight
float
for the next
away.
100-year flood. There's no doubt that it's a
But
very
if you put it
simple
around your
design,
house,
but as
then
we've
maybe
seen so
it'll
far on our list, sometimes the simplest of ideas or
not float too
contraptions
far.
are the
We'll
most
see.
effective.
Maybe tie it down somehow.
Number 11. Watergate. Not to be confused with the famous American presidential controversy, but Watergate is an interesting device.
Ooh, I
Keep
like
those
this one.
nasty
This is
flood
cool.
waters out of your hair. The idea behind the water gate is quite similar to sandbags as well,
Super
but saves
cool
much more
when
time,
the
energy, and effort,
structures kind of
and may even be a little lighter on the wallet
deploy
too.
themselves.
This is a
That's
rapidly
pretty
deployable
awesome.
device made entirely out of
It
PVC
senses
materials
the
and creates a solid
water
barrier for
via
even the toughest floods.
detectors
Once the water
and
gate is
then
laid down and
deploys
opened up, it
itself to
utilizes the
prevent
pressure of the
flooding
incoming water
to
to
the
stabilize
structure.
itself. So while
That's
most
a
things are
really cool
washed away when the
concept.
torrent comes, the water gate only grows stronger with every wave the flood can throw at it. And it's as if the flood waters are what is building the dam. And since this invention is made of PVC and just needs water pressure to keep it inflated,
There's
it's
places like
incredibly
Italy, for
compact and
instance,
super
that
easy to
have a
deploy,
lot
even just
of
by
water
one person.
damage. The water just flows in and out of the
Number
city.
10. Baseline
They
Storm
definitely
Surge
need
Barrier.
something
The
like
Netherlands has gone
this
ahead and built the best and
because
most
their
comprehensive
waterways
flood
outside of
protection
the
systems on the planet. Their
cities
baseline
of like
storm surge barrier
Sicily,
is a complex network of
they do
barrier
have the
infrastructure that was
capacity to
conceived because the
install
country
something like
sits
this.
almost entirely
And
below
it's
sea
something
level.
that's
The country
completely
has been no stranger
necessary,
to
like
serious floods
completely
throughout its
required and
history and
needed
had plenty
in
of time to come up with the awesome system.
Italy.
This surge barrier in particular was
They're
built in
just
1997 and
falling
remains
behind
one
on
of
the
the largest
times, you
moving
know? They
structures in
just
the world.
really need to
So then
implement
what
it now.
exactly happens
The
here?
cities are
Well, when the water
completely
begins to
flooding
rise
and it
around the
costs so
storm
much
surge barrier, its
damage and like
sensors
so much
triggers the
money to
walls to
fix the
close in,
damage.
and the water
But if
tank will
you
fill
install
all
something
along
like
the
this, which
barrier.
is really
The
expensive,
water within the barrier
you could
acts like a
prevent
heavy
and
weight
save
to help the
yourself a
walls
whole
push
lot of
down firmly
damage.
into the ground and their foundation,
So
which
good
keeps the
job,
floodwaters from breaching the gates.
Netherlands.
This contraption is a lot more complex than what we've seen so far on our list,
It
but you
looks
can't
beautiful.
deny that it's pretty cool and well thought out. Number 9. The Thames Barrier. For as long as anyone can
England!
remember,
I love
flooding of the
England.
Thames
It was a
River in
very
England has
beautiful
been a
city when
serious
I
and
was
persistent
there,
problem,
and it
so
would be nice
naturally
to
measures were
visit
taken to
again.
keep the potentially destructive waters at bay. Engineers designed a movable
Ooh,
barrier system
love
made
it.
totally out of
Super high
hollow
tech.
steel. These
Good
structures
stuff.
form
Looks
water
very
gates so that
effective.
when the high flooding
Pretty
shows up, the
high
gates revolve themselves
in
shut,
height.
stopping the water from coming through
Very
entirely.
tall.
But while the Thames barrier keeps the
Looks
floods out,
super
it's
cool.
still able to let the
Wow.
ships pass through at the same time. It's a pretty solid design that allows life to continue as best it can, despite the heavy rains. The Thames barrier structure has been there since 1984 and has been well used over 100 times to keep the surrounding areas safe and dry. Number 8. Opti. So the next entry on our list is a bit different. Rather than a simple or complex physical barrier, Opti is software that helps to optimize a city's stormwater drainage system using data management.
Now that's a computer desk.
And while most major cities have a plan in store for those big storms,
all
they
those
don't always work
servers.
as well as they should. Opti isn't just the software, but the startup company as well. They've already managed to raise $11 million in their first round of investing, which means that they must really be onto something, offering their mapping technology to predict where the flooding will occur and how bad it will be, so that the city planner can really pinpoint where the best to put up retention pods and other flood management systems are. And you can say what you want about tech companies, but Opti is here to help, and so far the program has been installed in over 130 cities across the United States. Number 7.
LiDAR. Woot.
Because of the
Love
monsoon season
it.
every year, Southeast Asia is no stranger to horrendous flooding. But Bangkok, Thailand has been implementing a mapping system,
Yes,
LiDAR, to help
remote
mitigate
sensing.
the waters. LiDAR
I
helps develop
really
elevation
wanted
plots and
to
models to
pursue a
understand where the
career
majority
in
of
satellite
resources need to
imagery
go for
and
flood prevention.
learn a
LiDAR is
lot about
short
outer
for light
space. It was
detection
one
and
of my
ranging,
favorite
and
things to
builds a
learn about.
3D topographical map for
And I did
engineers
a
and city
class
planners.
in this.
They also pair
Super
LiDAR
cool.
up with some unmanned aerial vehicles to scan the city's drainage network for any gaps or blockage to get ready for the impending storm. Thailand has been hit pretty hard over the last decade or so. While physical barriers will always be necessary,
Wow, that's
knowing exactly
awesome.
where to put them and when will always prove to be invaluable information. Number 6. Reichthaler. The Reichthaler is a neat little invention named after its Austrian founder that will definitely get the job done when the floods start to come in. This device is a bit more complex than some of the other devices we've seen so far. The Reichthaler is an automatic closing device designed especially to protect buildings from floods. It creates a cover that seals off an opening against the ingress of water. Although the hydraulic system may seem a little complicated to anyone who isn't an engineer, the Reichthaler really is super simple.
Cool.
Part of what makes it so great is that you don't really need to store it anywhere, because the Reitala guard hides in plain sight when not in use. Installing it may be a bit of a hassle. Once it's in there for good, ready to be deployed at a moment's notice. The fact that it's so inconspicuous really sets it apart from something that has to be hauled out of the garage, only to be hauled back the next day. This Reitala is the perfect thing to put in front of your front door, basement door, garage, or any entrance that could
It
all
picks
too
the
easily let in
person
water.
up. Wow, it's strong.
Number 5. Top Mix Permeable. Not all anti-flood inventions have to be giant barriers that either block or deflect water. And so the next entry on our list is a real standout. Top Mix Permeable is an interesting invention, but has proven itself to be a useful tool in fighting flood damage. And while it won't solve the problem all on its own, coupled with any of the other inventions we've seen today, fear of floods will be a thing of the past. So what exactly is Top Mix Permeable? Well, we're so glad you asked. Top Mix Permeable is a fast-draining, flood-reducing concrete. As part of any great urban drainage system, it can rapidly direct stormwater off the streets, parking surfaces, driveways, walkways, basically anywhere that you want to keep dry and structurally sound. But the stuff provides a practical, long-term answer to surface water flooding in a cost-effective manner. But once you lay it down, that's it. No setup, no takedown, no having to inflate barriers. And it looks like your typical
Wow, this
run-of-the-mill
is
concrete as
crazy.
well,
Look at this.
because nobody wants an eyesore. It's also a much better
Wow.
alternative to no fines concrete and
I
granular
love
bond materials
it.
that a
This
city
is
would normally use.
awesome.
Number 4. NOAC
What a
Box
great
Wall.
invention.
The NOAC box wall is a very simple name for a very simple invention.
The simplicity
Sometimes
of
the
this
simplest
one.
things
Oh
work the
my
best,
gosh.
which is why the box wall has such a high standing on
Ingenious.
our list. The box wall is a movable, protective flood barrier that uses the flood waters to self-anchor. It's another invention that really fights water with water.
Wow, look how
But this
strong
also
it
allows
is.
the
It's like
manufacturer to
literally
make
the
the box
thinnest piece
wall
of
as lightweight as
plastic I've
possible,
ever seen in my
making
life.
it incredibly easy to
Held
install
together
and
by
take back down
clamps,
again. They weigh
which is
less
also
than
very
sandbags
cheap
and are even
material.
more effective, seeing as how you don't
And
have to waste
it's
all of that precious
holding
time
back
and energy stacking
like a
sandbag
foot
after sandbag after sandbag.
plus of water
Barriers themselves are
in
about
height.
20 inches high and 15 pounds per section. Not everyone can handle a flood, but just about anyone can handle the box wall.
Wow.
Since it's ordinary people who are always the most affected by
You can
terrible flooding,
redirect
these
water.
box walls are made for ordinary people too. Number 3. Agger's Self-Closing Flood Barrier. The Self-Closing Flood Barrier from Agger's, or SFCB for short, is an all-purpose
detecting
anti-flood
water.
contraption. It is seriously perfect for any concrete jungle that gets its fair share of flooding during those obnoxious rainy seasons.
And
It's the
deploying
perfect
these
addition
systems.
to any critical infrastructure, like a power plant or chemical installation, primary and secondary dikes, civilian homes and businesses, coastal areas, and any underground infrastructure, like subway systems or tunnels. There are so many moving parts to any city
Super
that if just
cool.
one thing fails, it can lead to a further unnecessary disaster. And this is another contraption that uses the power of the flood against itself, this time by deploying once the flood waters actually hit. It's the force of the waters that automatically raises the barrier to protect everything behind it. That means that the SFCB is on permanent standby, never needs to be put away. It requires zero electricity. It's totally invisible when it's not in use. Each one is made to last for a full 50 years. That's absolutely amazing. And while the SFCB may not be a household name just
I
yet,
love the
it's
taller
certainly
ones.
been
Those are
getting
so
the
cool.
job done since 1998. Number 2. HESCO Floodline. Inspired by military supplies, the HESCO Floodline helps people out by sitting on the front lines. Based on military-grade containers, the HESCO flood barriers can be deployed easily and quickly. And since you don't have to be a rocket scientist to use these things, it means they're a great fit for anybody who wants to keep the flood lines far away from their homes and property. Similar to the flood box, the HESCO floodline are single units that can be joined and filled with water, but it's their cellular structure and mesh framework that helps to create a very, very strong wall that doesn't just hold back the floodwaters, but debris too. And since it's individual pieces that need to be joined, you can technically purchase as many or as little as you want, making them the perfect addition to any flood contingency plan. And they can be carefully placed to not only divert the floodwaters, but also keep an open route for emergency vehicles. And
See, the
since they're a
problem
nice
with
shade
this
of
one,
green, they
it's so
blend in
large
nicely with the
scale that
landscape.
It's only for large companies,
Number
large
1.
businesses,
Damn easy.
large organizations.
Not only is the final entry on our
Otherwise,
list one
like,
of
you
the
can't really
absolute
set it
best
up.
anti-flood inventions on the market, but it's also got one of the most clever, if not tongue-in-cheek names, Damn Easy. Damn Easy is an awesome alternative to the
Yeah,
heavy and
sandbags
sometimes
are
messy
very
sandbags of old, and
difficult
provides the
because
owner with a
it's a lot
floodgate to
of
prevent the
labor
torrential
and hard
waters
work
from
just
getting
to get
inside their
them
home. Gates
out,
can even
and then
cover
they're
bigger
not that
entrances like
effective.
garages, French
So
doors, even shop
these
fronts.
different
There's a Damn
technology-based
Easy for just about every
systems are
occasion,
just
so to
way more
speak.
effective at
Most of the
holding back
time when a flood
water.
hits, you don't
And
have
they're
much time
actually
to
way more
react, but the
convenient and
Damn Easy can
easier to
be
set
installed
up
in less
just
than 5 minutes,
overall.
allowing you to get in and get out quickly, so
I
you
think
can
this
hold
one's
up
super
inside
cool
safely.
because we've
And
just
what's
done
great about this
reaction
invention is that it's
videos, you know,
small and ready
where
to be
the
used the
water is coming
moment you get it.
through the
All you
doors,
have to
coming
do
through
is
the
prop the
windows, and just
barrier in front
breaking
of
the
your doors
glass.
and secure it to
And
the
so
frame.
this really
It may
protects the
sound like it's too
glass,
good to be
protects
true,
that
but keeping yourself safe from
situation
something as dangerous as a
from
flood
turning
should be
into
easy.
like a
And the
flood
seal
of water
inflates a
coming into your
tube
house.
outside the dam's barriers
The
that makes
water
the
would have to get a
entire
lot
area
higher for it
watertight.
to
It can even
actually
be
break
extended from the
through.
usual 30 inches to
So
another
that's
44.
a pretty
So while it
cool
may be hard to
system
really
right there. I
relax
like
during
it.
a flood, hopefully the Damn Easy can make people rest a little easier during the event.
Go convenience. And technology, I love.